back today to share the next Wooble that I made, Mateo the Avocado. And this is the first intermediate level Wooble that I've made. I'm May, and this is May's Crochets. I'm a beginner crocheter sharing my learning to crochet journey. A lot of what I've done up until now to learn how to crochet has been working my way through a bunch of the Woobles Learn-to-Crochet kits. I have videos on my channel of all of the previous Woobles that I've made. I will link my playlist here. But today I want to share Mateo the Avocado. So let's take a look at the front of the kit. So here he is, Mateo the Avocado. Again, this one is an intermediate level kit, the first one that I've done. Up until now, all of the Woobles that I've done have been either beginner or what they consider beginner plus. So this one's intermediate, and we're going to talk all about it. All materials included. Let's take a look at the back of the kit. So yarn, step-by-step videos, instructions, 4mm crochet hook, plastic eyes, yarn needle, and online instructions. And I realize all of the other beginner or beginner plus kits, there's another little circle here to say pre-started piece, but the intermediate kits don't come with a pre-started piece. So there we go. There's one less than usual. So that makes sense. So that is the kit, Mateo the Avocado, and let me show you how he came out. Here he is. Hi, I'm an avocado. I think I love him. I actually really like how he came out. I think I like this pattern a lot. Look at him. Okay, let's look at the top and around. Okay, so we're going to talk through the pattern and kind of talk about what made this an intermediate kit, and I can share my feelings and opinions about it. So yes, it's intermediate, and what it turns out, a big part of what that means for the Woobles is that they don't teach you the basics of the basic stitches. So all the other beginner and beginner plus kits on the online videos that come with the kit, they teach you from the very beginning how to do every little thing. They teach you a single crochet, they teach you an increase, invisible decrease, all of that. And it comes with a pre-started piece, so you don't have to do the magic ring to start off with at the very beginning. And the pre-started piece has stitch markers in it that are marked very precisely so that you can follow along with the videos, and it tells you exactly where, like, put your crochet hook into the stitch marked by the green stitch marker, and that is the first, spot you're gonna go, etc. They make it really clear to start off with, versus for the intermediate kit, no pre-started piece and no instructions in the videos. They assume you know all of that and can kind of dive in yourself. So that makes sense. Intermediate kit, they focus more on kind of all the other interesting parts of this one. So that was cool. I intentionally saved the intermediate kit for way later in my learning to crochet journey. So now I'm able to do this versus clearly if I didn't know what I was doing, it would take some time to kind of build up those basic skills. So you start off with the dark green, the back of the kit. You start off by doing a magic ring, or they say you can also always do the chain 2 method. They actually have videos to show you both, but I always do the magic ring. Do that. You do sort of a standard circle for a while, spiral, just like increasing and single crochets to kind of make a round circle. And then it starts to get interesting to actually shape this shape of the avocado up here. You end up basically doing these how do I describe this? You single crochet across, chain and turn, do some decreasing and single crocheting across, chain and turn, and you do that kind of back and forth to build up this sort of more triangle shape. And so you're doing, you have to do actually regular decreases and not invisible decreases because you're sort of turning it. And that's actually the very first time I've ever done a regular decrease stitch. I've only ever done invisible decrease stitches. It's basically the same, but invisible decrease, you're only going through the front loops of the 2 stitches versus a regular decrease, you're going through like all of it, I guess. So you go back and forth. I feel like this is how maybe people make blankets and things, although I've never made a blanket or a scarf or a granny square or something like that, where you're going kind of back and forth and chaining and turning. I've done slight variations of this in the past, but never quite like this. So let me hold this up really close. You can see it's getting kind of smaller. And you can see that the stitches are a little bit like uneven, or I don't know if that's the right word, but it's because you're turning it. And so some of these stitches are sort of back facing stitches versus front facing stitches. And so you do that all the way up, and then it's really interesting the way that you finish this. You end up with this very jagged sort of piece because of the chains and turns. As you're decreasing, it just ends up with this sort of messy like edge. And so you end up basically, they say like pick just 4 random stitches or 4 evenly spaced random stitches between kind of the top and then the spot where the actual kind of even stitches were for that original circle, and just make 4 single crochets, and that like ends up giving you this really nice even edge. But it's not like there's like specific stitches that you're supposed to be going into because of the sort of jagged, sort of messy chain and turn edge of it. And so you do those 4, and then you keep kind of going all the way around. And then you do the same thing on the other side. There's another sort of jagged edge on the other side, and you again pick sort of 4 random ones, crochet all the way around, and you end up making this really nice sort of edge all the way around, versus previously it had been you kind of made the shape but you ended up with that little sort of jagged edge. So that was pretty interesting. And then you basically do it twice. So you do it once with the dark green yarn and once with the light green yarn. It's really identical. Both pieces eventually are going to line up and you're going to sew them together, and you want them to be exactly the same shape, which makes sense. So you literally do it twice. So good practice to kind of get that experience of doing this, like decreasing and chain and turn and all of that. I have to say, I love this color, this emerald green color. I mean, I like emerald green, clearly. I think that they don't sell the emerald green. Like, if you look online on Amazon, they're easy peasy yarn. The color palette is all the sort of lighter colors, and they sell this color of the light green. And I've made a bunch of other projects with this light green, but I kind of love this dark green. And so it was fun for me just to have sort of the 2 shades of green. Maybe that's part of why I love this one so much. But so yeah, you make sort of the 2 halves all the way through. I also should say I did yarn under for most of this. My last video actually was all about yarn under versus yarn over. I made 4 crochet pumpkins and tried all the different combinations of yarn over and yarn under. So that was super fresh in my mind. And because of that, my takeaway from that video was that I really like sort of the X look that comes out of doing yarn under as the first stitch. But at the second stitch, it's really, really hard for me to do yarn under. And so I've been landing kind of on yarn under, yarn over, or maybe yarn over, depending. But it was really fresh in my mind. I decided to do yarn over, and I do like how it came out. Like you can sort of see a little bit of the X stitches. They're nice and kind of close together. You don't really see holes. But I did think about it as I was doing these parts up top, if yarn under was the right choice, because you end up doing the turn. I wasn't sure if because of that ended up more messy. I think that yarn under is more of a thing for amigurumi, and that it's not something that people do for blankets and scarves and things like that. So with this sort of chain and turn, I wasn't sure if it would come out kind of looking weird. But I don't know. I think it maybe looks fine, but it'd be interesting to maybe do this pattern again with yarn over, just to see kind of how it compares. But no, I mean, I think it looks fine, and I do still like the yarn under, and it ends up with tighter stitches, and I think they look pretty clean and nice. So I thought that was kind of interesting to think about. Always learning, always thinking about all of these different techniques and things as I go. So next up was the pit in brown. And so the actual construction of the pit was pretty standard. Again, magic ring, you go all the way around, make your circle, and then actually sewing it on, I struggled a little bit. I wonder if I'm ever going to have a time with one of these patterns where I just do it beginning to end and don't have to undo something and redo the entire thing. What ended up happening for this pit, they tell you to sew the pit on between, I think it's rounds 4 and 5. And so I started to do it, and I just started sewing in a direction and it turns out, we're making spirals, right? They're not even circles. And so because it's a spiral, I guess I just ended up going in the wrong direction. And so my spiral ended up going inward. And so eventually it got smaller and smaller, and it ended up so it started between 4 and 5, and it ended up sort of more between 3 and 4. They're not super clear about this in the videos, but by the end they do say you're gonna have to deal with the point when you're in a spiral and you end up not being on the same round, and you end up over round 5 as opposed to over round 3. So I realized And also my stitch count was like off, like I had too many stitches. And so that was why, because I had been spiraling in the wrong direction. So that makes a lot of sense to me. I always think about that, where it like tells you to do something like putting it between two rounds. Because it's a spiral, it depends how much you're sewing, and a lot of times it doesn't really matter. But in this case, where you're doing an entire circle all the way around, it totally does matter. And so, right, this is good for me to know for the future, anytime I'm doing something like this, to pay attention to kind of what direction I'm going in. So I had to really take out the entire thing and do it again, and spiral sort of outward this time, and it did come out with like the right number of stitches and all of that. So that was really nice. You do stuff the pit a little bit, so you get it kind of sticking out like that. There's a little belly. So that was fine. The stuffing of the pit, though, again, took me longer than usual because I had to redo it. And then you do also put eyes, the safety eyes, on the one piece, the light green of that side of the avocado. And then it's before you kind of attach anything. And so you just have like the flat sort of piece, and you attach the safety eyes on the other side. And then you're ready to sew the entire thing together. And so to do that, you basically line up the dark green and the light green. Again, you made them exactly identically. And so you end up being able to just literally line up stitch to stitch. And you basically do a whip stitch all the way around, where you go through kind of two of the loops, one on the dark green, one on the light green, and you go around, 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 around. Again, I had to redo this because I didn't do it right the first time. And I think this is on me. I was watching the videos, and it said to go through the back loops of each, the dark green and the light green. And for some reason, I think I misinterpreted what the video was doing, and I felt like you could interpret the back loop of the first one you're going through kind of two different ways. And one way the interpretation is like the back loop is the one closest to the light green, which in the end is the correct interpretation. But in the other interpretation, I don't know, it looked to me in the video like she was doing it closer. She was doing the stitch closer to her on the dark green, and then the back loop of the light green, because I guess that's like back when you're facing this way. I don't know. I ended up doing it all the way around that way. It looked fine, but then I was like looking at the written pattern, and I was watching the videos again, and I realized I kind of had it backwards, and it made more sense to me to do the two stitches also that were like closer to each other, as opposed to like skipping over one all the way through. And so I ended up undoing the entire thing and doing it again. I don't think it makes a huge difference, but it does look a little bit cleaner. There are a couple like slightly messy parts. I don't know exactly why. I might have like missed a stitch somewhere along the way or something, but it does look pretty nice as you go all the way around. And I am just such a perfectionist. I wanted to do it exactly right, so I ended up undoing it and redoing it. So yeah, in the end, it took me a little longer having to redo these pieces, but not the end of the world. And then last up, you sew on or embroider on the little smile. And there he is, Mateo the Avocado. So all in all, I have to say I really, really liked this kit. I liked this pattern. The fact that it was intermediate, I think was fine. I think that I'm glad that I had done sort of the previous, kits, and I've done a bunch of kind of learning how to crochet up until now. So I kind of knew more what I was doing. I could focus more on learning kind of the extra parts. But I have to say it wasn't like that hard, I guess, especially because I've done crochet up until now. But, I've done all these other Woobles kits that arguably were a lot harder because they have all these extra little pieces that you have to sew on. Like there's extra ears and arms and tail and nose and snout, like just all kinds of extra pieces that end up taking a long time and being pretty kind of fiddly and complicated. And so for that reason, those ones to me feel a little bit harder than this one. But I suppose it's really just for this one, the fact that they in the videos don't teach you from the beginning the single crochet and everything, that they dive right into some of the more interesting parts. But because of that, it actually, honestly, like this pattern, I don't think should take all that long. Again, it took me a little bit longer than it should have because I had to do some of these sewing all the way around pieces multiple times. But all in all, I do not think this pattern, was all that complicated or took all that long. And so, yeah, I guess I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to like a brand new beginner crocheter, since you want to learn the basics of single crochet and all of that, although you can always like learn it from, a non-Woobles video. But I actually really like this pattern and I feel like I would recommend it to other people. The only thing is, I suppose, like if it's an intermediate, it's really the pattern that I like here. And you could, I mean, I'm sure there's other avocado patterns out there and that you could get, and you don't necessarily, buy, you can have your own yarn and your own crochet hook and your own stuffing and all of that, and you would do fine. So it's not like this kit in particular is like giving you all that much, as opposed to, I feel like the Woobles are really good for the beginner kits when they give you the pre-started piece. You're learning kind of from zero and you need to learn exactly where to put your hook for the pre-started piece and all of that, versus this one, like if they just you just have the pattern and you knew how to crochet, you would come out with this super cute avocado, and that would be fine. You wouldn't need sort of all of the other parts of the kit, and it is a little bit, on the expensive side. So yeah, they do, I think the Woobles does actually sell like a food kit, or like it's like a bundle of multiple food related Woobles. And I think it's Alice the strawberry, Pina the pineapple, Oishi the sushi, and then Mateo the avocado. These are all 4 that I've made. I have from previous videos on my channel of all those other 3 that I just mentioned, and this was the 4th one. And I actually do think buying that bundle, if you were like a brand new crocheter, I think that could be interesting, because between the 4 of them, they really do sort of level up skills nicely. Alice the strawberry and Pina the pineapple, they have some similarities, but you could learn kind of from the ground up exactly how to do all the single crocheting and all of that. There's some similarities. It's like, the body is kind of similar, but then you're sort of adding on green. Like it's a little bit different between a strawberry top and a kind of pineapple top, but somewhat similar. And then Oishi the sushi is very, very different. And then Mateo the avocado, again, is very different. But all of those put together, I feel like you learn a lot of different skills and a lot of different parts of like amigurumi and crochet. So between those 4 kits, I really think you could really build up a lot of knowledge about crochet in an interesting way. So that could be interesting. So yeah, all in all, I really liked this kit, but I think it's more about maybe the pattern and less about the Woobles in this case. But I am quite happy with how he came out. I actually think it'd be really fun to redo this in like a more plush version, maybe chenille yarn, and end up with kind of like a big avocado, or even make the pattern larger, end up with like a giant avocado. I don't know why I think that's so cute. I mean, all the other ones I'm sure would be cute in plush versions too, but for some reason, like a plush Oishi the sushi doesn't sound as interesting to me, versus like a giant plush avocado I think would be adorable. Maybe it's because it's more like pillow shaped or something. You could have an avocado pillow. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna have to like add that to my list, my ever growing list of future projects to make, because I think that would be really, really fun. So yeah, I think that's it for today. I have a couple more Woobles to do. So I'd actually bought a whole bunch of Woobles in bulk, from one of these sort of reselling sites, from someone who was selling a whole bunch of Woobles in bulk. And I actually bought 20 Woobles all at once. So they were like cheaper per kit, which was nice because Woobles, are pretty expensive. But I have almost worked through all of them. I think that this one was number 17 and I have 3 Woobles left. So stay tuned for future videos when I review those. Next up is, I think it's a Halloween pattern. I think his name is Steve the Frankenstein. So I'll be doing that one next. And then the last 2, I think, are both kind of Christmas, kind of holiday ones. So I've been saving these Halloween and Christmas ones for this time of year, but I'm almost done with all of my Woobles. And I've learned such a lot as I've been going, and also branching out into making other patterns. So yeah, thank you so much for keeping me company. Stay tuned for future videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.